Welcome back to the Witch's Way podcast. I'm Kat.
And I'm Jamie, and tonight we are celebrating the Witch's New Year, or the holiday known as Samhain, or Halloween, or All Hallows Eve, or All Souls Day, whichever one. But we are celebrating the midpoint, okay, for witches. This is the midpoint in between two celestial happenings. So we had the equinox back in September, September 20th through 22nd, and then we have the fall solstice. Thank you, brain, for helping me out there. The fall solstice in December, so December 21, roughly. So, of course, we needed a reason to party. Probably not true, but that's how I think of it. So this is an in-between holiday, or what some people call a fire holiday. Again, the idea of the Wheel of the Year was created as a whole system, because none of these holidays were ever celebrated by one people's, all 8 of them, until now, until modern times. But this was just a way of celebrating and getting to the next stage of whatever was going to happen in community life. And Samhain originates in Ireland. We're going to get into a lot of facts. We're going to get into some just like interesting, weird shit. Just, this is our, we had 4 years for being on YouTube, which is insane to me. Like, we got our happy 4-year birthday on YouTube.
Really?
Yeah, on YouTube. Which
my goodness.
That feels crazy.
Wow.
So that means that I don't think we did Samhain back then, because I truly think that our first videos out were from Meetup in November. So I don't think we did a Samhain one, but it's like, we've been talking about Samhain with witches for 5 years now, because we did it one whole year without ever getting on YouTube. We had the Meetup, which is nuts. So what's crazy for us is this is our 5th year putting together some kind of lesson plan, or like talking about it. And I think what's weird for me is that when I go to talk about holidays, I know a lot of the small stuff. I don't want to say basic stuff, but I know a lot of the small stuff. And so then what I write about is all the way over the top in depth stuff, because it's what I find interesting. So I hope that I don't nerd out on you guys too much for this.
She's going to nerd out on you.
I wrote a lot of stuff in there. It doesn't mean we need to talk about everything, but this is the time when I feel like everybody really decides that they're into witchcraft, or they want to try something, or they want to just go see. Maybe they become a spectator first, and then they buy a book, or they buy a tarot, or somebody gifts them something, or they just they buy something a little witchy. They have like a crescent moon necklace. But this is just the season where I feel like there's a massive invitation to everybody who thinks they're just normal and they're not a witch, because there's a little witch in every woman. Sorry to tell you, but there just is. And this is like the time, the Halloween Samhain season. Also, saying Samhain, I want you guys to know that I didn't say the names of the holidays until YouTube had a video pronouncer, or Google had a video to pronounce the words for me. I used to just say shit in my head. So if you've been saying the word Samhain wrong, that's okay. It's okay. As long as you knew what you were talking about in your own head. We don't speak old languages. Luckily, the Irish are still around to tell us that it's actually called Samhain. So, all right. That is me yammering for 3.5 minutes. What are we going to do, Kat? What are we getting into?
Well, first we're going to talk about the origins of Samhain. And so this is a long time before we had pumpkin spice, which I pumpkin spice.
I'm drinking a cold pumpkin spice coffee.
Or plastic skeletons. Mm-hmm. Samhain was the holiday that marked the final harvest in the Celtic lands. This was a time when the veil between the worlds grew thin. So what are the origins of the thinning veil? Because we've all probably heard this.
Yeah,
this is the time.
I had to put this in.
Yeah, this is, you've heard the veil thins. Well, what does that mean, and where did that come from?
Yeah.
So first of all, the concept of the thinning of the veil predates the word veil itself. Mm-hmm. Its roots can be traced to ancient Celtic and pre-Celtic spirituality. So what would that be? 25,000 years ago?
25,000, 8,000.
8,000 years ago.
10,000. Okay. We don't know.
I didn't have any idea. But I was just throwing something out there.
Where we started really getting into where things were recorded, or you can at least go by oral histories, confidently 8,000 years ago. So we're looking at 6,000 BCE. Mm-hmm. So roughly that time frame. And what I really liked, that as I wrote this, they were talking about how what they believed is that the world was layered. And I kind of think about this as how people think of
Heaven and earth?
Yeah.
And
like,
hell?
Just
hell,
where
heaven,
we
earth.
have to have these boundaries, right? Like humans need boxes to fit into. We like to organize things. You know, maybe this was a Libra person who came up with this, or a Virgo.
I think it helps us make sense of our world.
Yeah.
You know, when we're
to
able
have boundaries.
to have
boundaries,
structure around the things that that are our lives and our world. We need. I think it's human nature to want structure.
You know what's interesting is I've mentioned this before, I don't know, over the years, but there is this study. We're going to sidetrack just a tiny bit to tell you guys how much this goes into psychology of how we create our belief systems. But in psychology, there was this very famous study where they thought that putting fences around schoolyards was like inhumane. You know, it probably wasn't the word inhumane, but it was like, oh, that's not fair to the kids. Like, they feel like they're in jail. Like that, somebody complained, right? And they were like, all right, well, you know. And at the time, where did the kids play? The kids played all the way up to the fence. They grabbed the fence. They looked through the fence. They went right to that boundary line. Fast forward a couple years, they took the fences away. And guess where the kids stayed? They stayed over by the sandbox area that actually had the wooden little things to block them in. They never went to the end where the fence used to be. So it was like that boundary actually made them feel safe to go there and peer out all the way to the end of what they knew, rather than not knowing. If they didn't know anything, they were like, ooh, stay over here where we know we're safe. Or like, how far out can we go? Something might happen. They didn't feel safe after that. So I think that Kat's right in the fact that we feel better when we have boundaries and we know them and we have a structure around our world.
Yeah.
So that's part of that belief system. But so the pre-Celtics, what they believed is that the world had layers. And I want you guys to know right now, like, I can't speak for the heritage, religion, and Irish people at all. Just so you guys know, this is shit I read off the internet, okay? Like, from sources. I love the site learnreligions.com. They're very reputable. A great site. I love it. That's where I get a lot of my information from. So just if you want to fact check, that's where we go back to. So the pre-Celts believed that the world was layered, and I love this idea of they had like the human realm, then they had the fae realm, right? So fairies are huge in Ireland, and they're not all good and beautiful and happy and like the ones we want in our garden today. And then you had the realm of like the dead, and there were times when these layers blended, or you could like move between them, and that was the thinning of the veil. And it didn't just happen once a year. It actually happened twice a year. It was the opposite end. So you've got Beltane also. Mm-hmm. And so these were just the times when the Fae could really intervene in human lives, but also just a veil, a time when things would come out. So I loved that. You know, that doesn't mean that the Fae and the realm of the dead always interact with the living, but it's just that they knew that it was there, and they were like, oh man, the thinning of the veil, of the layers, because veil wasn't a word back then, which I loved hearing that too.
So I always thought, you know, what this has always meant to me is that this is a time when the veil or layer between the world, the spirit world, mm-hmm. and our earthly world is thin enough that we can reach out either through meditation or dreams or even spell work and, you know, chanting or whatever to the people that are on the other side, spirits, ancestors, and so that's how I've always thought of it.
And you know what, that also brings in a good psychology point from like the world of Joe Dispenza, right? If we have the belief that there is something magical that can happen, like we will make it happen for it. We will literally bring it in. That would be that whole, you know, I don't want to say manifestation, but if you have a belief, you're going to look for evidence in the world that makes that belief true.
Yeah.
So if you know that if you've always called this the time of like, oh my gosh, well, like the hauntings and things can get creepier, you're going to have more creepy or haunting or spiritual or wonderful experiences with the other side. That's just what it's going to be. And the willingness, if you ever listen to psychics and mediums, when we are more willing to accept that they are there to talk to us, we get the messages back. So it's there's all these worlds that are confirming this.
I mean, I think you have to be open to it, or you're blocked, right, from receiving any kind of messages.
I think this is the time of the year when people are really open, where they believe it can happen, right? So that's an openness to it. Like they're looking for it. They're like, oh, was that a sign? Was that my dad? Was that my aunt? You know, was that my grandma? Like, was that my pet? I swear I still hear, I lost my cat 2.5 years ago now. I swear I still hear his meow in my yard. Like I'll be out there and I still hear his meow, and I'm like, sometimes I call out, I'm like, Mickey? It's like, I know, I hear you. So if you have experiences like that, that's where, you know, this is the season for it. It's a great time to have those things.
So during this time, as Jamie said, the Celts believed that the boundaries were blurred, and this was between
Yeah. So we're going to try to say the fairy word in the, it's not even called Irish, Celtic language. It's when they say it online, it sounds like the she, but there's a D in there. And so it's like shdi.
Which is very fairy folks and spirits. Yeah. And it was believed that these roamed freely. And that ancestral spirits would visit homes to bless or seek offerings, and that priests and seers also during this time performed divination, believing messages from beyond were clearest during this time.
Yeah, and so the in-between time, if we're thinking about that and like why this is that special moment, it's because it's not summer or winter. And it's not life or death. So even in the fields, right? Like it's not quite dead of winter. So there's not like nothing is growing, and nothing is being planted to start growing. So it's just this weird in between time. So when we talk about in between, that's what it means. And the Celts themselves saw the cycle of the year as cyclical, right? So the circle of that, which is what makes so much sense, having the witch's wheel. I mean, that it just makes so much sense that everything would go in a circle and keep repeating. So Samhain marked the end of the old year and the beginning of the new year. And it's that moment right between death and rebirth. That's the in-between. That's the thinning of the veil. That's when you're like, something has died, but it hasn't been reborn yet. And we're in that kind of barrier, the in-between of that. Which when I think about the in-between, and I don't know if you ever watched this, so for anybody else.
The in-between, is that a movie? Some horror movie?
No, it is from a kind of science-y horror show, but it's from Stranger Things, the in-between.
Oh, okay.
That's what they call like the upside down world or something.
Oh, is that from Stranger Things?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Isn't that what they called it, the in-between?
I don't remember now. It's been such a long time since I watched that show, but I love that show.
Or was it called? Yeah, I think so. When I read that, I was like, wasn't that what they called it in the Stranger Things? Anyways, yeah.
So the word Samhain, which is pronounced like sow, like a sow, S-O-W.
Yeah, like
Ian, Samhain.
Female pig.
Although I say Samhain, I gotta do a win with it, but Samhain, the word Samhain means summer's end.
Summer's end. I know, right?
I'm sad, but then I'm not.
I don't know.
I
felt a cool breeze today.
I enjoy the dark time of the year because I slow down and, I do more things in the house, and my whole vibe changes, for winter. Yeah. For the dark time of the year.
Yeah.
But anyways, Samhain means summer's end, and it was one of the most important fire festivals for the Celts. It was celebrated between on October 31st or November 1st, right in that area, those 2 days maybe.
Through the night.
Yeah.
Every village would have had their own thing.
And bonfires were a huge thing. They were lit to honor the dead and to protect the living. Food offerings were left in doorways, and people wore disguises. And you know why they wore disguises? Because they wanted to confuse those wandering spirits, those naughty spirits.
Could be naughty. Could be like you're, just maybe a spirit you don't want to run into. So you're like, I don't want to see my ex that, fell off the roof or something like that. I don't know back then. I don't know. Yeah. So if we get into their ancient practices, the lighting of the bonfires on top of the hills, I got into that. I had to do like a deep dive. I was like, okay, so I know that, we've talked about when you're calling quarters, or when you think about like the boundary lines of a place, or, how did casting circles with witches come about, and just in that general area, right? So this would be an ancient practice that led to our evolution of casting circles to have protection, to do the things, to start something, to initiate the magical workings that we're going to do. So these bonfires on top of hills specifically, they were placed there for both practical reasons, like till everybody's celebrating at the same time, so that everybody knows that what's going on. It's sort of like the banner that you would fly, but it's at night. So a fire, of course, is what is going to, there wasn't electricity back then. But the spiritual reason is also just, it confirms something for me, that when I burn things, it's not always about like letting them go, but about sending message, for transformation. The light on top of the hill, the fire was actually like a beacon for spirits. So that also meant to call to the town the spirits that people wanted to see or revisit. So the flames could be seen across the entire valley, wherever they were burning it at, and they were signaling to the other world, the living remember you. Like, I loved that as a memory, as like a thing to say, I honor you with this flame.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I love that. It's like, come in peace also, probably, right? So you're lighting the fire, you're bringing them in, so you're welcoming them in, and that is a way to like peacefully ask for it. Like, we're here when you're ready to come. So I liked that as well. Just that, the way that was like, I don't know, reaching for spirit, calling spirit. And for me, you guys, the reason I love it, my personal practice is before I do all of my magical workings, I light a candle first. And I've just always done that. And I've never had a connection to anybody's practice or book or anybody who told me to do it that way. For me, that was the way that I call in my team of light, like the spiritual beings that I work with when I do magic. And so I just love that it's that's part of that. I'm like,
I love that.
Just reaffirms more for me.
So fire, of course, is purifying and protective. The hilltop bonfires create a protective circle around the tribe's land. I think I saw this in a movie or something, or some series that I watched that was about really old times, and they did this. They had the fires lit all over the place. Yeah.
Well, it would protect you. Number one, you'll be able to see at night, and then animals are afraid of it. So, like, as you think about what fire could mean as just practically as being protective, but also spiritually as protective. Yeah.
So in some regions, cattle and people were led between two fires to cleanse them before the harsh winter. Mm-hmm. This was a ritual of blessing, banishing sickness, and ensuring fertility for the coming year.
And I've read about multiple holidays where, like, fire walking, Beltane is another one where, the fire dancing, the fire walking, jumping over the fire. So this was just a big thing for ancient people to do, to see fire as that transformative, sacred light, like all the things that it can represent. Fire is not just one thing in my head.
Well, when you think about the importance of fire to people then, when they didn't have, electricity, and they didn't, that was their only way to keep warm. It was their only way to cook food.
Like, yeah, it was everything. It could be life or death, honestly.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like that game Survivor.
Fire was like really important to people 8,000 years ago, because they couldn't live without it.
Yeah. I started looking up, like, how did they keep fire going? Did they, were candles a big thing? Like all this. And the way that they made candles was from animal fat. And like,
I thought they had like something small that they would keep. So they would keep the embers, the embers so that they could easily, so that they could easily start fires. Because they didn't always want to be, and this may come from a book I'm listening to, actually.
Carrying torches.
I'm listening to a book about Stonehenge, the building of Stonehenge. And so, and I think that's one of the things that's mentioned in there, is that they had some kind of a way where they kept this little ember, like, some kind of ember thing going, so they could move from one place to another and not always have to get out the flint to get the fire started again. Yep. So it was very, and they kept the fires burning like all the time. All the time. They never let them go out, because getting started was, a hassle. A process of that, for sure.
There are holidays, and Samhain could be one. Like, everybody probably had their own way of doing it, but sometimes all of the house fires were put out. So like every hearth fire was out, and then they all relit from that one fire.
Oh, I remember that practice. Mm-hmm. I remember hearing about that. Yeah,
that's at Beltane also. That's it.
Okay.
So that could be it. Yule. Off the Yule log every time. So we want to have a sacred event. Like, all the fires that everybody's taking with them or keeping in their home come from that main center fire. Which I think it's how the community of that, right? Like, everybody's burning from the same fire, all the things. When you get into it and how spiritual that could really feel. So lastly with the fires is that it's also, remember that, agriculture, like, this was also honoring the sun, and the sun, knowing that the sun will return. So Samhain marked the descent into winter, right? So we're past the equinox. Now we're getting closer to the longest night. So this was an important time to kind of mark the death of the sun's strength. Like, this was it. It's like we're really heading into winter now. And they would light these massive fires in high places, symbolizing keeping the sun's flame alive. Again, like sharing that warmth, sharing what it can offer to cook food, to keep things, to keep people alive through the winter. It was also, by lighting the fire, it was a promise that, like, we're going to keep this burning until you return for the sun. And, of course, that makes sense. But in a sense, each fire was both a funeral pyre. Say the word for me. Pyre. I took speech and R's were one of my words, or one of my letters I had to work on. A pyre and a vow of rebirth. So it's like for the sun, it was like we're honoring your death, but also we know that you're going to be you're going to be born again. It feels weird to say those words. That's too religious sounding.
Born again is
it's too religious.
Too close to.
You're going to be rebirthed into the world, son. Yeah. I mean, part of that was true.
Some of the other ancient practices of the Celts were dressing in animal hides, masks, and horns to ward off or blend in with spirits. Divination rituals, like with apples, mirrors, polished bronze or obsidian.
Yeah, I had to look up mirrors because I was
Did they have mirrors? They didn't have mirrors.
8,000 years ago, I was like, I'm calling bullshit. I literally was like, I gotta look into this more. They did. So it was polished metals, bronze specifically, but then obsidian. So remember, like, I'm looking at your can't say that word either. Scarring mirror.
Yeah.
And that would have been like black obsidian. Yeah. When we made those last year.
Yeah.
That would be their mirror. Like, it's not crystal clear.
Well, you know what they also had for mirrors was water, so they could look in water and see in clear water, still water, and see that's the Dionysus. Yeah. Or Narcissus.
Narcissus was looking at the reflection of Felon and Drowned. Yeah.
But so they did look at themselves. They knew what they looked like because they had these methods of being able to see. Because otherwise, there was no way to know. There was no way to know, what you looked like if you were like your hair was messy or.
I'm sure your mom or your grandma was like, "Girl, get your hair."
Or you were ugly, and compared to all the people that you saw.
Now we're going to spin off into a whole new thing.
No, I'm not going to spin off onto anything.
No, I am, because then, like, if we think about how much we're literally on camera right now, how much we see a reflection of ourselves, and no wonder we don't feel comfortable in our own skin because we were never made to see all these faces and all these people and all these things and like the reflections of everything, right? Like, our brains haven't had time to catch up to that, and why we might feel like we don't belong or we don't fit in or we're just like not like other people. The reflections. Okay.
One more thing. So back to the divination rituals. Nuts were used to predict love. I want to hear about that. Tell us more. Love, marriage, or fate. So how did they use nuts? Do you know? Did you, when you wrote that? I mean, you must have got it from somewhere. I know you just don't write anything without knowing
random shit. I can't do that.
I know you don't write anything without knowing the whole backstory behind it because you just can't.
It's not the whole story, but cracking open a nut, it's like the story of the wishbone. So which side is bigger? So you choose, and then it's like, will this happen for me? Will it not? Okay. So I don't even remember what the nut was. Like, in my head, it's a walnut, but I don't. That
depended on. Did they have walnuts? Walnuts.
The walnuts over there
in that part of in that part of the world. They had hazelnuts. Well, this was Celts. Where were the Celts? Ireland. Okay. Yeah. Well, this was, and again, the book I'm listening to about Stonehenge, hazelnuts were big, but that was England.
That's England, yeah. It's in Bath. But the nuts thing was like, nuts are known, for us now in Magick, it's fertility.
Dim nuts.
D's nuts, Mom.
Dim nuts.
Oh my gosh. The boys said that. Our boys said that when they were like 7
I should know that from the grandson saying D's nuts.
That was like 6-10 years ago. Thank God that's not a thing anymore. Oh Lord, I can hear it in my head now.
Little boys and their packages.
I never needed to hear that again. But yes, so they had things that were important to them that's how they did divination. That was the whole point of writing that. And I thought that the nuts being cracked open and used for that is just like, that's interesting. That was okay. Well, that's great.
That's what they had.
Hey, we use what we have. That's how I am here in Florida. I don't have all the things written about in books. Most of these books that we have that tell us all the things we can make and bake and do, I'm like, that's not from Florida. Like, that's not in my environment. I can't just go grab that. So I always adapt my practice a little bit to what I can grow in my yard.
You have to.
And I like that. I just like it better than buying the stuff online. I'm like, I could substitute that for something. Like how we're going to get into it, but pumpkins. Yeah, the Celts didn't have pumpkins. Like now everybody's heard that they carved turnips and not pumpkins because pumpkins are American. So anyway, the feasting and food offering. Of course, time to party, time to feast, time to get down with the gods, time to have a good time. But during this, there would always be the offering of food to the Fae and also to loved ones that are going to stop by, making their favorite dishes, leaving a plate, offering, just letting them know that they're welcome. This offering of food to somebody who's not going to be physically there but spiritually there is a way to make them feel like they are part of the group. There was a movie. Damn it. Anyways, Disney does a great job of adding in some spiritual context. I want to say it was like Coco or something. I don't know. Anyways, having a plate set out for people who are not there physically but there spiritually was a way of honoring them. And then fire cleansings, of course, right? I already talked about this. Extinguishing the hearth fire, and then relighting it from the bonfire.
From the communal fire.
The communal fire, the sacred communal fire, which everybody probably got in on. And so, I just recently went to Ireland. And I told you, there's no trees. So much of the land, there's just no trees. And I think about that with bonfires and building and.
So they wouldn't be able to have any fires if they don't have any trees.
Yeah, trees are limited over there. It's really there's not a lot of trees there. It's pretty crazy.
Strange.
It is very strange. We asked a guy in a pub, we were like, so why Ireland doesn't have a lot of trees? It's just flat grasslands. It's not flat, sorry. I didn't mean to say that. It's just rolling grasslands or hilly grasslands.
What did he say?
He said he blamed the British that when they came over there, they cut down all the trees. And I was like,
wait a minute, how many hundreds of years ago was that? And you're still blaming the British for it?
I don't know. It was funny, and I was just like, okay, I might look into that one day. I don't know, but yeah, we were just like, all right, well, we'll just accept that as an answer for now and move on.
Our modern practices are a little bit different, but also incorporate some of these old, ancient practices. Altars. So today our altars, they probably had altars, and their hearth was likely
that was
their
sacred space.
Their sacred space. Mm-hmm. But today our altars, we can make ancestor altars during this time with photos, candles, and the favorite foods of loved ones. Mm-hmm. This is the time for shadow work. This is another practice that we do, modern shadow work with rituals, like reflecting on death, what's ended in our life and what's transforming in our life. So these are things that were, come up for us during this shadow time of the year.
Yeah. I also think candle magic, of course, right? So anything to do with fire, flames, bonfires, anywhere you can go where you can get a fire going and sit around it, that's definitely an ancient practice. Humans have been doing that for a long time. But this was a big holiday around fire and lighting a fire, in the purpose to call forward a spirit or somebody that you want to talk to or see or get inspiration from or have a dream about or anything. Candle magic can be used for protection during this time, clarity. So as you begin to work in the darker months, it's like, what do you need to see? What do you need to clear out? What do you want to work? Because during the darker months, we can really go inside of ourselves more. There's more reflection, although the American holidays distract us from a lot of that. It gets very busy after Samhain. It's
for sure.
Then Thanksgiving
for a couple months, until after January. Then things finally calm down.
Yeah. And technically the start of winter, the season, is not until the solstice.
Till December?
December, yeah. Yeah, that's the 3 months of winter, which I never thought of it that way. I always thought of winter starting now, and I was why is spring so late?
I always think of it as winter starting now too.
No, my birthday.
But remember that in Kansas City, it was not really the dead of winter.
Yeah,
the coldest, just most miserable part of the year was February.
My birth month. That's right. No, I know that very well. It was always shitty, cold, rainy, sleeting, snowing.
But you know what? But you were conceived in the Beltane season,
I know.
so that's a good thing.
So I got cursed with 10 years of snowy birthdays, but that's okay. I live in Florida now and I don't have to deal with that. Never again. So also silent suppers. I've done this a couple years, especially my dad died in 2013, and I didn't really have anybody to do a silent supper for before that. And after he passed, it was probably the first year. It was like, absolutely not. He literally died in September, so by October I wasn't ready to do anything but cry and grieve. And actually, no, was I here or was I back in Afghanistan? I can't remember. He passed when I was in Afghanistan, so I got to come home for 30 days and then I had to go back. But I didn't do this practice probably until 2014, 2015 when Joe was here, and I started telling her about more things. Because, you know, when you have a connection to a holiday, and if you haven't experienced some of the things that this holiday is really about, you may just be like, yeah, this is a fun holiday for me. This is a dress-up holiday. This is not a, you know, I don't get into the deep spiritual shit. And then some stuff can happen and you're like, oh, this is the time now. This is when I can start to honor that, you know, thing and start thinking about, you know, people I've lost or my pets that I've lost or anything that's going on. But I'll tell you, for many years of my practice, I did not have that for me. Samhain was not a holiday for that. For me, it was to become whoever you want, be whatever you want, try on any personality. Like, that whole season was just about being super extra, and I loved it. But now it's a little more solemn and a little bit more with respect and, you know,
Reverence.
Yeah, just, honoring that cycle. And also, like, I've gone through so many things now. I can see parts of myself that I've let die off, or that I've chosen to, like, yeah, we're going to snip here. Like, this is done for me. And I can reflect on all the people that I've been before, even through jobs. I mean, obviously my military side, like, I'm so far removed from that now. But I bet if you threw me in a base around a bunch of, you know, military people, Navy people specifically, I could fit right into that. But it's like, I don't ever want to again, you know, like, I don't ever want to go back to that life. And you could have things like that where, you know, leaving somebody, like leaving my son's father. Okay, I never look at that relationship and go like, oh, I miss that, or I want to be there. No, it's like, God, I'm glad that ended because I have what I have now and there's nothing better. So being able to look at your life and all of the things that you've done and say, I'm really glad that I let that go, and here's how it's helped me. Like, I don't think I was able to say I was glad my dad, and this sounds weird, I know. I'm glad my dad passed. It opened something up for me, and I couldn't see that for probably 6 years to be able to say that. But if my dad would have still been in the picture, I would not have ever given my now husband a chance, like, ever talking anything. Nope, never. Just would have never. And with him passing, it allowed love to come into my life, and, like, for me to have this amazing relationship in the life that we do now. So I had to get to a place where I could say, I'm glad my dad died. What? Like, it doesn't feel right to say that, but he didn't die. He's on the other side. He talks to me all the time and leaves me lots of little things. But, like, physically, I needed that removed from my life so that I could have what I have now. And when you get to that place where you're able to reflect on something that big and that significant and emotional, because my dad and I were, like, extremely close. I'm his little mini-me. We talked about everything. We would spend hours and hours on the phone all the time. So saying that does not come lightly, just so you guys know. Like, no, I wanted that man in my life, and I still can't believe that it's been 11 years. And wait, 12?
14 years.
Fucking hell, yeah. It's been a long time.
14 years.
Since he died? Golly.
Yeah, 2011.
Insane. Yeah.
I know, that is crazy.
It's crazy to think that, but that, I had a point that I think I said it, is when you're able to... Kat said shadow work, and then I said silent suppers, and that's what led me to it. I had never done that before. I didn't have a reason to. I did it a couple times. I don't do that now. When you hear the practices that witches do for Samhain, just make sure that it resonates with you, and know that you don't have to do that every single year. Like, it might feel right for you this year, and next year you'll be like, I don't want to do that again. Like, I'm going to do something else. That's the beauty of witchcraft, is just, like, always trying new stuff, always seeing what fits, you know, dipping your toes into every little pond that you come across and being like, I like it, I don't like it, this is okay, I'll bring this back later. But at least you tried it, or at least you know about it.
Well, I also think that you can, you know, modify or customize, if you will, some of these rituals and practices to suit your own, you know, your own comfort, your what you have available to you. I had this vision of, so I've never done a silent supper, but as we were talking about it, I just thought, this is my vision. I have to share it.
Yeah.
So getting like almost like a doll set of dishes and stuff, and then setting up a little, like with a tray so that you could make a little set of dishes, and like a silent supper that you just leave that tray out with, and that would be to honor your ancestors with. I just imagine these little like doll dishes.
Oh my gosh.
And having a little like altar or a little altar, some sacred space set up just for that. And I thought,
would you put food on it still?
I might put food
that's the whole that's the whole thing, is like you do this so that they feel included, like you served them their plate.
When you're in, okay.
For that ritual.
Oh, okay.
And I bet Cameron doesn't remember, but we did it in our house on Sturbridge. That I told everybody what was going to go on, and I was like, we're all going to sit here. This plate is for my dad, and we're going to you don't talk. So the silent supper is that you don't talk, because you just like communicate through your thoughts, and you think things for them because they're not able to talk. So you're like, the way that you're doing it is basically trying to become more like them, giving them the room, and so that they don't feel not included. Right.
Well, maybe my little tea set or whatever doll thing.
No, you wouldn't think of it as, no, I still love your idea. I just was telling you, like, that's where you're trying to enter their world with the silent supper more. Rather than
honoring them. It's not about honoring them, it's about entering their world.
Yeah, inviting them in so that they feel like you're trying to meet them on their level. So you're not talking. That's why it's called the silent supper. You fix a plate of food, everybody sits at the table. But I've done years that I've done it also for holidays. I have fucking made a plate and left it somewhere, and I'm just like, yep, that's my dad's plate. We didn't sit down, nobody's silent, nothing. I was just like, I just feel like doing this. I feel like honoring, a plate next to his picture or something. And then like for our wedding, we made a whole chair for the two people that Tony and I lost, and like so you make space for them in whatever in whatever way that you want to. So having cute doll dishes, and then every once in a while you just add something to that and be like, the spirit of your house, the spirits in whatever. Like, it's not, I didn't mean to shoot your idea down.
No, it's okay. I didn't really.
We didn't explain the silent dinner very well.
I've never done it, so I didn't know. I mean, I know in concept what it is, and I've actually read about it in books. Like The Witches of New York. I've read that book, The Witches of New York.
I don't know.
And they do a silent supper.
They do a silent supper.
Yeah. But I haven't done it myself, so.
And I don't know where that originates from. I don't know who first thought of it. I don't know anything about the practice. Just I know that it's been written in books since like I first started learning witchcraft.
I thought it was like in the 30s, like the Gardnerian, Gerald Gardner, when he was doing all of his stuff, and
they made that practice up, and it's like, this is how I mean,
that's where I thought it came from, but I don't remember where I got that information or why I think that, but that's where, and it's probably out of a book, I'm sure, that I got that. And I don't know if the book was fiction or nonfiction, but at any rate, I'm sure you could find where silent supper started, where that practice started, if you researched it.
Like to pinpoint it. Mm-hmm. But then again, it's such a personal thing. I would think that it would take some time before somebody would put it out to the public that that's something that they do. It would just be like it's more of like a family tradition that nobody. I would think that it has started as a family tradition of some sorts, and that it was more personal rather than something that they would like, oh, here's a book to publish with all these little things to do, or I don't know. We don't know everything. I don't know if we told you that yet, but we don't know everything. We try. We don't know everything. So lastly is another modern day thing during Samhain, during this time, is pumpkin carving. And the original thing of carving a gourd was to scare off, again, it would be like dressing up to scare the spirits off or to light a path. And I actually, I know somewhere in here I wrote down the thing of the guy, because I didn't know if anybody had ever heard the jack-o'-lantern story.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if I know that story.
I didn't know it. I didn't know it all the way.
I won't know until I hear it.
Yeah. So those are our modern practices. Now we get into the New World associations, like modern and American stuff.
And now we're in our own world.
Now we're here on the U.S. mainland, and now we're just doing what Americans do best: exploit and fucking monetize it, and like
yeah,
consumerism.
Yeah, I was thinking capitalism.
Yeah. Well,
whatever you can sell, whatever you can make a buck on. Yeah, for sure.
It's the American dream. Like, start a business, make a life for yourself. So the first one, Kat's going to talk about trick-or-treating.
Oh, trick-or-treating.
Trick-or-treating.
Oh, my goodness. So, trick-or-treating, this is from souling.
Souling, like a soul?
Souling. When people begged for cakes in return for prayers. This originated in the 10th or was a practice during the 10th to 15th centuries.
Yeah.
And poor people and their children would go door to door singing and praying for the souls of the dead, particularly those still in purgatory.
So we know this is a religious thing. And obviously if it's 10th and 15th century, it's not America. It's just more modern times. But yeah, I should have specified that a tiny bit more. The next one is, the jack-o'-lantern one is America.
Okay.
Sorry.
And in return, they received small cakes or bread called soul cakes. Mm-hmm. Soul cakes were little round, sweet buns, often flavored with nutmeg, cinnamon, allspice, or currants, and marked with a cross on the top. I've seen those.
Yeah, soul cakes.
Yeah.
Hot cross buns.
Yeah.
I mean...
Yeah, I've seen that.
I didn't realize how people got them or why they made them, but it was like specifically for this thing to hand out to the poor who would come begging. And Caroline kind of reminds me of Caroline. I don't know. But it started because poor people needed food and they could offer their prayers, and people believe that for each prayer, then the soul could somehow get out of purgatory. It's a fucking bartering system for your soul. It's so crazy. Like, that's everything to do in religion is always like, we have your soul. What are you going to give us for it? I don't know. Did you do enough? Did you,
exactly.
Did you pray enough? Did you do 20 Hail Marys? Hail Marys?
Hail Mary.
Hail Marys.
Hail Mary, yeah.
Hail. With the Hail Mary.
Hail Mary.
Yeah. So... I thought that story was very interesting. I had never heard that, obviously, because I don't look into the religious side of things most of the time. But this came up with soul cakes, and I was like, huh. And I thought it was all, like, witchy and cool. No, it's fucking religious. I was like, oh, well,
anyway, each of the cakes symbolized a soul being prayed for, helping speed its journey to heaven. Some regions believed each cake eaten freed one soul from purgatory. Yeah, that's some religious Bible bullshit that we don't even... We're like bartering no.
But what I do really love is why we have these spices during this season. Look at what is in the soul cakes. Nutmeg, cinnamon, allspice. Those are the ingredients, besides clove, that's the ingredients for pumpkin spice. Like, the pumpkin spice has 0 pumpkin in it, if you guys did not know that. When you are making the spice for pumpkin spice, there's no pumpkin in it. It's cloves, allspice, nutmeg, cinnamon, and there's one more.
Currants?
No, currant is like, that's like, nope, there's 5. Fuck. I have it on my Instagram, but I don't know. There's 5.
Nutmeg, cinnamon, allspice, currants.
Yeah, that's just what they put in the hot cross bun or the soul cakes, but to make pumpkin spice, the spice for the holidays.
Is it Chinese allspice?
No, not Chinese. It's just regular allspice. Clove, allspice. It might be anise. I have it all in my one cupboard to the left of my stove. Right there. And that's what my coffee... It's not, how some people just put cinnamon in their coffee? Like, no, I use the pumpkin spice all year round that I make myself. But there's no pumpkin in it. So anyways...
Well, Jamie's going to tell you the story of jack-o'-lanterns.
Okay, the jack-o'-lantern guy... I had to dive deep into this, you guys, because I had to really get into it. But... pumpkins and jack-o'-lanterns became a thing in America because when people from Ireland got here and they had been using turnips for Samhain, the American pumpkin became this, like, it's the right color, it's easier to carve, like, it's bigger, all the things. They were like, yeah, fuck those turnips, man, we're going to use pumpkins. Look at this thing. It fits perfectly for the holidays. So it was a very quick turnover from the turnip to the pumpkin when the Irish got into America a couple, 100 years ago? I don't know. I didn't look up the date. I didn't put dates on this one. But when they got here, the way that I'm telling history right now, this is like, if you ever seen the show Drunk History, not that I'm drunk, but there's just like, the fact telling is terrible. You're like, I need to fact check all of this because I don't have the...
Well, we're not here for history lessons. We're just here to...
the history of it.
I like it too,
I do.
You know.
All right. So remember I told you guys that the the turnip heads, they served as lanterns as well, right? So you could put the little old candle in there that was made of animal parts, and that it would ward off evil as you walked around town, like if you had to go somewhere. But it's to ward off, evil souls. I don't like using the word evil, but funky little spirits that want to mess with you. And could also, if you left it in places, it could guide wandering souls. So then they would recognize where they were at. All right, the flame inside was a tallow candle. That's what it is. You know what tallow is from, like a lard. It's a fat. Yeah. Okay.
It's from animals.
Yeah, it's from animals. It could also represent the eternal spark of life. So again, this is just giving importance to having a fire, having flames around. But all of this started because of the legend of what I called Stingy Jack. And that's
Stingy Jack?
Yes, it is. But the whole time I was reading this, I kept reading Stinky Jack because I'm dyslexic. And I don't know why my G turned into a K. And I was like, why is he stinky? And the story never got to Stinky Jack. So now you guys are going to remember this story because it has nothing to do with...
Well, and that was your grandpa's name. So it was like Stinky Jack or Stingy Jack or Drunk Jack.
Drunk Jack. It was Stingy.
Drunk Jack was the grandpa.
Well, and they should have made a better name for him because he's really like Trickster Jack, really is like, but Stingy Jack.
Stingy Jack.
Stingy Jack. It doesn't make any sense. So I called him Stinky Jack. I don't know. That was what my brain read. It was the Irish American folklore, okay, of a clever trickster named Stinky Jack. I should just start saying stinky. But Stingy Jack, I'm going to pronounce that G, invited the devil in for a drink. I have so many questions right off the bat. They don't answer any of them, okay? This is just a story. Stingy Jack invited the devil in for a drink. True to his name, Jack didn't want to pay for his drink, so he tricked the devil into turning into a coin in order to settle the bill. So how that came about, don't know. They don't ever say. It's like he was a trickster. Jack was a trickster of some kind. And so he tricked the devil into, like, I bet I can get you to pay for this or something. There's got to be this commentary between them. And then the devil turns himself into a coin, and Jack uses the coin to pay for the drinks. So the devil did pay for the drinks. All right. So the devil turned into a coin. Jack was supposed to pay for the drinks with it. But then he put the coin in his pocket, and it was beside a cross, which trapped the devil in the coin. So we're getting into some weird shit now. So if you have a cross and you want somebody's soul in something, what? Like, so many questions, you guys. But I'm a terrible storyteller when shit doesn't make sense. Because I question everything. So Jack keeps the devil's soul locked in the coin because he has it next to a cross, and that's like how the devil can be tricked into being trapped. I didn't know
That's
that.
what religions want you to believe.
Yes. So the cross can trap the devil in a coin. Yep. Got it. Learned something. There was also a point where Jack eventually let the devil out of the coin, and the devil was like entertained by Jack's coyness. That then, I didn't know this either. This is where apples come into Samhain also, but Jack tricked the devil into climbing up an apple tree, and I guess you can trap the devil in an apple tree as well, and because they're holy somehow, I don't know. There's a star in them. There's a pentagram.
This is the weirdest fucking story ever.
That's why we don't know it. That's why nobody tells this fucking story.
It makes no fucking sense.
It makes no sense.
No, it makes no sense.
Basically, Jack trapped the devil in a coin using a cross. He trapped him in an apple tree using an apple, and then he refused to help the devil out of anything. So he just got the devil sitting in places just being like, ha ha ha, look at you, motherfucker. I'm over here free and you're trapped in something. What? All right. So eventually Jack died, and still having trapped the devil, right? Heaven refused him because he was this guy trapping the devil, which you would think heaven would be like, fucking applause. Oh my God, I got the devil trapped. The world doesn't have to worry anymore. No. Heaven was like, you're too much of a trickster. We don't like your kind. Go talk to the devil about where you belong. Well, the devil didn't want him in hell because he had tricked the devil so many times. So he's like, I don't want that trickster in my world. Here's where Jack is sent to roam the land forever, for eternity, for his tricksterness. And that is the wandering fucking Jack that is now the jack-o'-lantern. 0 cents. I know. I bet you guys are mad at me. You're like, why did I waste 10 minutes of my life listening to that stupid fucking story?
Well,
Jack was offered a coal by the devil to, like, here, you can find your way using this coal to glow, right? And so it became this scary story of, like, if you see a glowing head, it's probably Jack, the guy who's stuck on earth for eternity because he tricked the devil and heaven didn't want him. And, hey, kids, don't end up like him. I don't know. Like, what's the lesson there? Don't know.
Well, I didn't know the origin stories of the jack-o'-lantern. So, aside from all of the religious,
shit that don't make sense.
Yeah, this stuff about the cross is so powerful that it could because I thought the devil was, when I was in religion, the devil was the ultimate trickster and the one that was so like clever and wily and for fuck's sake, he got Eve to eat the apple from the forbidden tree. So what the hell? That was when I was going to church and stuff, and
when you were being brainwashed.
When I was being brainwashed, yeah, exactly, yeah. Okay,
that's that's a weird story of Stingy Jack.
Well, that's the story of the jack-o'-lantern.
Yeah, that's how the jack-o'-lantern came to be, and why they still like.
And did that story? Do we know? Did it originate here in the U.S.? Is that part of our?
No, the Irish brought it over with them.
Okay,
and adapted it to the pumpkin.
Okay,
so it was maybe Jack's head got turned into a turnip. I don't know.
Oh my God, we have a bunch of interesting facts about Halloween in the United States.
I did 20 facts that might be interesting because, and this isn't like for Samhain. This is just so you guys know how big of a holiday this has become, just from the Celts coming here, just from the Irish people migrating to the U.S. Halloween, not Samhain, but Halloween is the second biggest holiday in the U.S. as far as money being spent. Things
and we have the Irish to thank for this.
We have the Irish to thank for this.
So some of my ancestors, because I got some Irish in me, mostly English, but yeah. So are we going to go through these?
Yeah. Halloween comes from All Hallows Eve, the night before All Saints Day, which was November 1st or 2nd.
Okay.
So you might hear that, right? You might think that Samhain lasts all these days, but honestly, I don't know why I said honestly, that's so weird. What you'll find is that, remember how we got to this place where Christianity and pagan religions needed to blend somehow? Holidays needed to happen around the same time for people to convert over. So you will often find pagan styles, tradition, holidays right around the same time that you'll have religious holidays, saints' days, remembrance days, whatever. They needed that. They needed to make those days close together so that it was easy for people to convert. We're all celebrating together. Look at us being one big happy family. Yeah.
Okay, so the Irish immigrants brought the celebration to America in the 1840s. So
there you go.
So
1840s.
We're coming up on a couple hundred years
200
here.
years, yeah.
Yeah, 200 years
Halloween
of this.
Halloween is almost 200 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not Samhain, but Halloween.
Early Americans carved carved turnips, not pumpkins, which is what the Irish did in Ireland, right?
Right.
Because they didn't have any pumpkins there. There was no such thing.
There were no
so they must have been amazed by pumpkins. The first citywide Halloween celebration in the U.S. was held in 1920 in Anoka, Minnesota.
That's the first Halloween celebration. I just loved that. I was
1920.
Like, in Minnesota. They're such nice people.
Minnesota.
Minnesota people. Trick-or-treat became widespread after World War II when sugar rations ended. So that's when it became a sugar holiday. Mm-hmm.
Americans now spend over $12 billion on Halloween annually, and this year it'll be like $50 billion because of Trump's tariffs. Fuck you.
Billion. Halloween's the second largest commercial holiday after Christmas.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I believe it.
Did you see the cost of fucking chocolate, though? Now it's $24 for a bag of Snickers. So, I mean, I saw someone post that. I don't know. I haven't been to the store to look.
We haven't bought the candy for the kids yet.
I don't know if there'll be candy if it's $24 for a...
We'll give them little, fortunes, little slips of paper.
We won't be letting... If it's that expensive...
They're like getting to give one good candy.
Yeah, we won't be letting them just reach into the bowls like they did last year and take as much as they want.
True.
Because hello.
I know.
Yeah. Oh my God! More than 600
million
pounds of candy
are sold each year in the U.S. Yeah, this surprised me.
Reese's peanut butter cups
are ranked as America's top Halloween candy.
Really?
What?
Oh my God, pet costumes. Oh,
Okay, that's just a whole other
$700
world.
million industry for Halloween. Holy cow.
I love it. Pumpkins are grown in all 50 states. I did not know that. Illinois produces the most.
Wow.
Yeah, we got big things up there in Minnesota and Illinois. The White House has celebrated Halloween since the 1950s, which
But not this year because Trump's a dick.
Maybe they'll dress the White House lawn up as like a bunch of big dicks or something.
Yeah.
With crowns.
Yeah. I don't know.
Okay, many towns now host a trunk or treat for safety.
Wait, you missed 13 and 14. The practice of trick-or-treating was inspired by souling or guising.
Guising, yeah.
Guising, like disguising?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's it.
And a fear of Halloween is called Samhainophobia.
Samhainophobia. Which who's afraid of Halloween? But Samhain. I just love the fear of Halloween. The like American name for it is Samhainophobia. So it's like the original name.
And not Halloweenophobia.
Not Halloweenophobia. It was Samhainophobia.
Yeah, that's because they want to tie the witches to everything that they're afraid of.
True. The jack-o'-lantern legend originated with Stingy Jack, the trickster who outsmarted. We'll say we already went through that, but yeah, Stinky Jack, not stingy to me.
Okay, black cats, once thought to be witches' familiars, are now their Halloween icons.
Ooh,
Black cats and black cats and black hats.
That's right. The most common Halloween colors are orange and black, symbolizing the harvest and death, which I never ever put that together.
I never put that together.
I never put that together. You know?
Okay, that's interesting.
The harvest and death. Yeah, I was like, oh, now I don't hate those black and orange
tights.
tights.
And some hospitals x-ray candy each year for safety, a lingering urban myth. No, listen, I was a kid in the 70s. I was, late 60s. We did have to work. People would give apples, and then there was a whole thing where people were putting. So if you guys weren't around then, the razor blades were different. They were like little thin things that you screwed inside of the contraption for. If you ever seen an old razor like your grandpa's razor,
not disposable ones,
not disposables. Yeah. It was a little tiny, and you could get those things inside apples. So
did an event really happen like that? Did somebody really get hurt?
I don't know because I was so little.
Yeah.
I was just a young kid, but I do remember that my parents were like, "Don't eat anything. We need to look at it all." And people putting stuff in candy. Yeah,
that happened with us too.
It was a thing. Yeah.
What was sad is like in our area, 90s growing up, people were still doing like homemade treats and giving it, and it was like, don't know if we can trust that. Like, that's so fucking sad. Somebody took the time out to like bake cookies or brownies or something and put it in a cute little bag and then hand it out at Halloween. Yeah, no, I don't think we ate that because it was like, what if you're gonna get poisoned? It's like the fucking fear,
Yeah,
yeah, boo. What else? Lastly, go ahead. It's cute.
Halloween is also a popular wedding date among witches and goth romantics.
I love that. Yeah,
I do too.
I never thought about getting married on Halloween, but
I think that would be a cool birthday to have as Halloween.
I know somebody who has their birthday on Halloween. They're not cool. They're not. They're lame as.
Well, mine is 1 week after Halloween, so I kind of like that I'm born so close to Halloween.
Yeah, you could basically move it a week. Be like,
I could, yeah.
So consumerism and spirituality. So we went through all of this because this is big for me. When we get into spirituality, only because when I started this, there was nothing on the market, and now there's a massive market for witches and all of our things and all the stuff and all the pretty shiny shit that we all want because it's beautiful and we all like attracted to the aesthetic of it. But yeah.
So for many, Halloween's become a sugar-fueled costume bash. Fun, yes, but far from its roots. Very far from its roots.
Someone's actually asking us to pause, not party. Even though I gotta say I party every Samhain, every Halloween.
Partying tomorrow night.
For a little bit of party tomorrow night.
It's not Samhain, but we're in the season of it. Yeah. So we're doing a wine tasting tomorrow, and we're dressing up for Halloween. So
doing it.
We're already starting.
So because it is, it's not really party, it's supposed to be more of a pause, and it is about death and reflection and release, and it's like we're really looking at how the earth starts to grow in darkness and invites us to turn inward. But we make all these like fancy outside things to do so we don't have to do the work, right? We distract ourselves with the party so that we don't do the work. We
distract ourselves, yeah.
So when we compare
some of us, I think there comes a point where you're like faced with it.
It's not every day.
Yeah.
But there is, when when I have a Halloween costume, like I'm going to a Halloween event, I will spend 6 to 8 weeks working on a costume because everything I do is always handmade. And
I know. I
does
remember
consume
the
me.
dress that you went. I remember the dress that you went to Salem with for
Yeah.
the Halloween ball.
My
there.
Persephone outfit.
Persephone. You sewed flowers on the.
I mean, the details that I put it, so it can consume me. There's definitely years where I feel like I've done more of the party opposite side of, the Samhain, as far as like how witches can really vibe with it, how we can allow ourselves to go deeper and really feel it. But you've got like the consumer Halloween, which is external and all the costumes and decor and excess distraction possibly. And then the spiritual Samhain, which is internal, and it's remembrance and gratitude, introspection, rebirth, really trying to find the time to think about what this is leading us into, right now.
So this is your reminder to balance the two.
Yeah.
So spend some time partying, but also spend some time in quiet and reflection.
Light your candle.
Yeah.
Do your
the
work.
things, yep.
Do your work. Where's your homework at?
Okay. So now we're going to talk about some ways that you can honor the shift of Samhain.
Yeah. I would say lighting that orange or black candle for protection or remembrance, So you've got the harvest and death. Now that we know that
I
orange,
like that.
the harvest and death, they're like honoring both things that are happening. This is a harvest holiday, but this is also the new year. It's the death, rebirth in between. Yeah.
Create an ancestor altar with photos, letters, or heirlooms.
Yeah. If you have ashes, I have a standing ancestor altar for me, which is where my dad's ashes are. So I keep that year round, but I spruce it up and I, do things with it or add something to it during this time of the year for sure. Holding that silent supper that we talked about, if you feel like it, or you don't have to hold it, like sit with it and do the thing, but you can't have a plate out for offerings. I think both are fine. But when you do the plate and you're silent and you're thinking about them, that energy, remember, like you're sending out those thought waves, like they're hearing you, they're getting all of that energy from you and with you, and you may hear things back. So you could do like automatic writing while you're trying to enjoy the dinner between the two of you. But the silent supper, yeah.
Write and burn a list of things to release before the new year. I really like that as a ritual. It's this is a time when we start to look back on what we've accomplished this year, what we didn't accomplish this year, maybe goals that we set that were like, they just went in a different direction because things change for us, our lives change. So it's the time to like look back. This is a time we reflect back over the last 9 months, the whole 10 months.
You can do it from like the first of the year because we all think about like the modern New Year, also January 1. But you can go as far back to like what was
last year.
Yeah, like all the way November, December, like looking back at the full 12 calendar month, full 12 months that happened before this time. Yeah, favorite thing, walking in nature, and it doesn't have to be at dusk, but it can also be, I think of dawn as well. Again, that in-between time where it's not quite day, it's not quite night. Anytime that you can get out into nature and kind of feel the shift because it's cooler. I mean, in Florida, it's harder for us to understand what's happening, but like just you really start to feel that next season coming in.
Meditate with your shadow self. What wants to be healed or integrated?
The shadows.
Some meditation, reflection. Spending quiet time, just.
Yeah. I always talk about this when seasons shift or things happen. Each season holds memories for us because we do run on that cyclical year. If you experience trauma during this time of the year, 2 months this way, 2 months that way, whatever, your body remembers. You'll start to feel the things again and you won't even know why. So that's why the shadow self of like, what can you heal, what can I look at, what can I try to deal with a little bit more. I've had several events obviously around this time, 14 years ago now. My dad had died around this time. So there's things that have happened since then even where it reminds me, it's like, man, I need to sit with this again. It's coming back around. I'm revisiting that period of time when all of this happened. Okay, let's look at, I'm away from the event, from whatever happened, and how can I heal another little piece of myself. I think one of the unrealistic expectations that a lot of us have, or they don't really specify that when you sit down to heal something that's been going on with you, it doesn't always happen in like one huge chunk and then you're like healed. No, it's like in little pieces that each time you sit with it, a little more heals, a little more heals, a little more heals. And so you just keep revisiting it in that way so that you can find peace with what happened, or at least like know that it's not your fault, or it's part of your journey, or how it actually helped you, like that reflection part. See where that takes you. So sitting with your shadow self during this time is really good.
Harvest and dry herbs for winter magic. If you have a garden, yeah, this is the time. Or I don't have any herbs. I really want to try to grow herbs, but
we're doing seeds today. He just got all the seeds in,
Okay.
I'm trying a new one, mugwort. I haven't grown it before. Love the herb. I've bought it many times, but I'm going to try to grow it in Florida now. So I'll have some herbs for you soon.
I'm gonna try this winter to get myself an herb garden.
Oregano does really well here. You should do oregano. It's very tasty too. And thyme, basil. Those are good.
I always end up killing my basil, and I love basil. I don't know what
it likes a lot of water, and you can't let it bolt. You got to trim that flower off. But it's time to learn stuff. Yeah.
Make soul cakes or apple bread and share them with intention.
So I don't know if you guys know this for apples, and this has been in my practice for a very long time. If there is somebody that you love, share an apple with them. That's like a love spell. It's meant to make love stronger. And I don't know, I learned this so long ago, I can't even tell you where it comes from, but apples are protection, they're love, they're lots of things, beauty. But yeah, sharing an apple with somebody you love, like cutting it in half and then like you each get a half on a plate or something. Yeah.
I love that.
Share an apple with somebody you love. It's a love spell. An unintentional, or just a love gesture even. Yeah. So cleansing your home, I'll tell you what, I did that today. I don't know why. I had the fucking energy. I just wanted to do it. I started clearing stuff out. I started making a donation pile. Yeah. I know most people do this in the spring, but I am such a fall cleaner outer also. Like maybe I do it in the spring too. Actually, I do it whenever I get a wild hair in a place. But I did all day today. Instead of working, I fucking cleaned and moved stuff and made piles for things I wanted to let go of. And I was like,
good for you. Yeah, that sounds wonderful.
It's so nice. And I made a protection corner. So I moved my protection altar from where it was to a new spot. And it's like when I walk out of my bedroom door, it's right there in my living room area.
Nice.
Love it.
I love that.
I'm very happy with it. So yeah, cleanse and bless your home. You can do smoke, salt, sound. You can make a little altar, whatever you want to do for that.
Just cleaning and donating and cleaning out closets and
getting rid of stuff.
That lifts, that sends energy out the door.
Gets energy going.
And, allows it to be used by somebody else who might need it for things that, this is a great time for cleaning out stuff.
For letting go, the death of things.
And finally, casting a renewal spell, symbolizing the death of the old year and the birth of a new one.
Yeah. You know what's happening right after the new year for us, right after Samhain. Cameron's going into the EMU.
Oh, yeah. On the 3rd,
Yeah, my son's getting ready to do a long hospital stay to try to figure out where his seizures are happening in his head. And when they, we were hoping to get in October, actually like the beginning of October. And when they found room, basically it is November 3rd. And I'm just like, what does that mean for my new year? Because this last year has been really hard. Like a lot has happened medically. And I was like, I didn't want to go into this next year with that.
The thing about this, what do they call it? It's testing. They're going to be testing him. Is that once EEGs. Once we see the results of this test, we're going to know where the seizures. We're going to have some answers that we didn't have before because the doctors and we don't know where the seizures are happening in his brain, and that's going to help us figure out what is the treatment methods, options that are available for him. Because so far his epilepsy's been unresponsive or not able to be controlled with medication.
Yeah,
and
for
we've
3
been
years
going
now.
On this for 3 years, trying different medications. Last year he was in the hospital 10 times, or had seizures 10 months out of the 12 months. He had seizures.
all 12 months. It was 10 events.
But 10 events couldn't be there's 12 months, so wasn't one a month.
Do you mean from January 1st?
Yeah, for Cameron, yeah.
For this year, it's it's every month.
Oh, but what about in 2024?
Oh, yeah, we 10 and 10, yeah.
Yeah, so because
10
you know,
events
when
each
you
year,
start
yeah.
looking for answers for this, you start, you know, documenting. Well, you've got documents, but then you start laying it all out and going like, damn.
Looking at the pattern.
Looking
being
at the
like,
patterns,
what is
I was
going
like,
on?
holy
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah, it's a lot.
So anyway, so this is a big deal. November 3rd is a big deal for our family because he's going to go get this testing, and by the end of that week, you know, then they'll have some data to analyze, and maybe we can come up with a plan so that he can have a fucking life, because right now he really can't.
Yeah,
and
so
that sucks.
Well, that's what made me think of, you know, when you say cast a renewal spell. I've been wondering, what am I preparing for? How do I prepare for this, right? Like, this is the upcoming year. I've got barely 2 weeks to really, like, do something for this. It's our holiday. It's Samhain. It's like, and maybe that's why I cleaned so much of my house today, is just like really getting the space ready to be able to go in and have these, because I have altars all over my house, but to have these places where I go and light a candle for the thing that I'm looking for, you know, protection, family, love, the ancestor altars, asking them for help, like whatever it is. I have altars for almost everything. Literally. I have altars for everything. And all of them have candles on them, and that is how I go and like activate that altar or ask for help or something. And so I don't know that I would do a renewal spell, but I'm going to definitely have the altars ready to go, maybe a spell ready to go for like just getting, like letting this lead to the next thing. Yeah. So if you've got something coming up also that's sort of big in your life, take this next week or two to kind of, you know, you don't have to do everything on Samhain's date of October 31st. Also, we should have mentioned that like in the beginning. This is a season, this is a time. So a week before, a week after, 2 weeks in between, it's a gradual shift. Okay. We're always gradually shifting into the next thing. But do something that gets you ready for the upcoming things, even if it's revisiting your family during that Thanksgiving season, which for sometimes is really fucking hard, seeing people and like getting along and just like not saying the things, and then like dealing with people who, you know, maybe drink too much or just have loud opinions or whatever. It's like, prepare for that. This is a good time to start preparing for all the things you know you gotta get yourself ready for. Yeah. Did that feel exhausting to even think about?
No, actually, no, it gives me ideas. No, I was just like, okay, so I can see that. I was kind of looking at, I was like, I can see that.
Yeah.
Samhain reminds us that death is never the end. It's the doorway to transformation.
As you honor your ancestors and the turning of the wheel, remember, every ending you grieve becomes the soil for your rebirth.
So light your candles, whisper your gratitude, and step boldly into the dark. The witch's new year begins. Not now, but soon.
It's happening now.
Yeah. Oh, actually, this is going to air on Samhain, isn't it?
No, Saturday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So I don't have my watch on.
It begins now. We're already in it.
It's here now.
We're already in it. It's not the day, but we're in it. We're like
I'm not a the day person.
I'm not a the day person either. But for anybody who is.
That's tough.
It's here now.
It's here now, yeah. So we want to wish you guys a blessed Samhain, our beautiful witch sisters out there. We love you guys so much. We're so happy that this is like the 5th year, the 4th year, maybe your 1st year. But to be able to continue to do this is what we look forward to all the time. You know, this is what our wish is. Every new year, we're always like, what can we do more? How can we deliver more? How can we give more? What else can we do? What else can we think of? We're the idea girls, if you didn't know. Yeah.
Yeah. So until next time, we will be right here if you need us. You can find us on social media.
Yeah, we'll be thinking of you.
Witchworks Coven on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok.
Oh boy!
In case you want to, follow along.
I know what we're up to.
We're posting stuff
See the
all the time.
shenanigans.
Yeah.
Thoughts of the day.
We'll
That's
see
the
you
one
next
I
time,
posted.
witches. Bye.
Bye.